Salute, 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 salute. Bow. Okay. What a hell of a weekend. Um, had to watch the fight late. The fight was over before I even got an opportunity to sit down this weekend. Actually, I was doing I should have recorded a video doing the do-it-yourself project, but I had to put some new stairs up in the house. I put a picture right here. It has nothing to do with boxing, but that's how my weekend went. Put up some new stairs, and when I got done, I clicked over to Real Talk Boxing, and he already had posted up Anthony Joshua lost the fight, to my surprise. And I got an opportunity to sit down later and watch the entire fight. And I want to do a quick little breakdown. And it's amazing to me. I love to see when somebody comes and upsets the apple cart to watch all the reviews. This actually stirs the pot up and get debates going. You hear all kind of interesting debates and all kind of interesting conversations. Some people are being very defensive. A lot of people eating a lot of crow. I got to eat a little bit of crow myself. I take a feather or two because I honestly thought that Anthony Joshua would prevail. And most everybody, to me, it was like there's only like a few percentage of people that was die hard going for Alexander Usyk. This one guy, I forget his name, on the Boxing Rant. Go check them out. The Boxing Rant, one of my favorite channels. It's two guys, and they were 50-50. One guy was picking Anthony Joshua. The other guy was die hard picking Alexander Usyk. Matter of fact, he was the only person, him and Maestro, they both convinced me to take a double look at Alexander Usyk for me to give him a fair shake. Once I did that, I said I can't count the guy out, but I still had to pick Anthony Joshua ultimately. And some guys, when you watch them eat crow, it's just funny to me because they telling everybody else they don't know shit about boxing. But if you go back and listen to their predictions, they were actually picking Anthony Joshua to win. So it's just amazing to me to see how some people make the adjustments off of making bad predictions. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's all good. I make my predictions just for the hell of it, and it's not like my predictions is going to dictate the outcome. I like to watch the fights and let the best man win. Anthony Joshua got bested by Alexander Usyk. When I watched the fight, I think everything went right for Alexander Usyk. He was completely dialed in. And it's one thing when you're watching the fight already knowing what the outcome is going to be. So when I watched the fight, I already knew that Anthony Joshua had lost the fight. Now I just want to watch to see why and how he lost the fight. Alexander Usyk was dialed in from the first bell. Anthony Joshua was half cocked, period, point blank. He never looked confident. He never looked like he ever made the switch into killer instinct. He catches a lot of flack for being too nice, overly manicured, too much of a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? Way too polished for a heavyweight division, just way too polished. And it's funny to me because the first time a guy like Anthony Joshua loses, it really makes the world stop and pay attention. Like, what? Anthony Joshua lost? To who? Andy Ruiz? The second time he loses, it's kind of like, man, Anthony Joshua lost. Like, how did they lose? He lost to a smaller guy, Alexander Usyk. Well, Alexander Usyk was, undisputed in cruiserweight. And it's just easier to digest the second time around. Anthony Joshua never had that that aura around him like Mike Tyson, who, when we was growing up, Mike Tyson was undefeatable. We always thought he had the demeanor and the attitude and the type of mentality. We never could even fathom Mike Tyson losing, even after he lost. And when he came back, it still was like we thought Mike Tyson just could not be destroyed, could not be beat, could not be, vanquished by any opponent. But AJ never really had that. Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder never really had that same aura as a Mike Tyson. But Anthony Joshua has it, in my opinion, the less. Like, Deontay Wilder is all heart. Not a lot of skills, all heart. Tyson Fury, skills on top of skills, but he's always been, you know what I'm saying, a wishy-washy type of a guy. You know what I'm saying? You never know what you're going to get. He's a box of chocolates from Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get from Tyson Fury outside of the boxing ring. Inside of the boxing ring, you know what I'm saying, different story. But Anthony Joshua, he always kind of had that in people's mind. Uh, is he going to be able to bring out that dog? And he's learning on the job. And we seen him be exposed by Andy Ruiz. And we seen him make adjustments. So now we're going to try to see if he can make adjustments again based off what happened in this fight against Alexander Usyk. I'm never going to count out Anthony Joshua again. I don't want to count out any fighter, especially at the elite level. But I think he can make adjustments, but I don't know if those adjustments will be enough. Because just like Alexander Usyk said, Anthony Joshua can make adjustments for the rematch, but you still haven't seen the best Alexander Usyk. He can make adjustments too. And from what I saw, he completely dominated and blew out Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, it was a struggle to give him one round. Some people said that gave him 2 rounds. I had to go back and rewatch it again. To me, Alexander did something every single round enough to win every single round. It just amazed me that from the very first bell, Anthony Joshua came out playing to Alexander Usyk's strengths. He just came out dancing to his music. He just never came out and set any kind of tone for himself. He came out from round one, allowing Alexander Usyk to completely dictate the fight, completely take over the ring generalship and be dominated. I never saw him fight like a big man. I never saw him snap out any punch. I never saw him snap out a jab. It was always a pawing jab. It was always an unsure, trying to find range. A lot of it, I looked at Alexander Usyk was just way too fast. You know what I'm saying? The hands can't hit what the eyes can't see. Alexander Usyk was just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? The southpaw stance really had Anthony Joshua befuddled. And a lot of these punches was just coming out of nowhere. And that is where I really have to give Alexander Usyk a lot of credit and props. Because when you talk about a boxing virtuoso, some of those punches, I had to go back and rewind because I'm like, where in the hell did that angle come from? Where did that punch? I was from the outside looking in and couldn't see where those punches were coming from. So I know for Anthony Joshua in the inside looking out, could not see those punches. Those were blinding punches coming from unforeseeable angles. I mean, just nowhere, just pop, 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 pop. Those punches were phenomenal. I can go back and watch those punches over and over and over again because those punches were the definition of the sweet science of ring IQ, of ring generalship, of being a virtuoso. I mean, those punches were coming from everywhere and unexpected and on weird angles and pulling away and I mean, excellent fight for Alexander Usyk. Excellent display of boxing. And that's a problem with me. Anthony Joshua never made the adjustments to that. He never made the adjustments to say, I'm the big man. He's faster than me, but timing beats speed. I need to lay down a line and, you know what I'm saying, and put myself in a position where I'm going to catch him with something coming in. He never ripped to the body. There were a lot of shots that was uppercuts to the body that were there. Maybe Anthony Joshua couldn't see them. We could see them, but those punches to the body were there a lot. But instead, we seen Anthony Joshua trying to find a punch to a very elusive, moving target that never stayed still, that never stayed on center line, that was constantly spinning Anthony Joshua and just had him completely befuddled and completely out of his element. But I'm like, the body's right there. Throw some hooks and some uppercuts to the body and slow the man down. Anthony Joshua will go back to the ring from round one. He will go back to his corner, and he had this look on his face where you could tell he was confused and he was pretty much giving up. He had the same look on his face when he lost against Andy Ruiz. It's just this look that he has in his demeanor that is like he's embarrassed, he's confused, and he has a little kind of a smile on his face where you can just see he's not turning that switch. He's mentally taking himself out of the fight. and then he physically takes himself out of the fight, and you can see it. He does not have that. He doesn't have that. Like a lot of people used to like Anthony Joshua when he would catch you with a big shot and stick out his tongue. That's the Anthony Joshua where I was like, to me, that's a false sense of confidence. And he's sticking out his tongue, and I'm like, eventually somebody's going to start whooping his ass off of that type of shit. That's the Anthony Joshua I didn't like. The Anthony Joshua that started making the changes and making the adjustments from the Klitschko and from the Andy Ruiz. That's the Anthony Joshua that I thought would show up in this fight, where he had started to develop this style that was, boxer puncher. But either way, the Anthony Joshua that showed up to me is still Anthony Joshua, and I can't take away anything from Anthony Joshua. He did not give up. He did fight to the mid. You can just see Anthony Joshua was learning at that time. He was getting took into school, and he had the look on his face like I'm getting took to school, and that's just what it is. Can't take anything away from Alexander Usyk. I got to give him ultimate credit. That was a beautiful performance, an excellent fight. And I don't want to take away anything from Anthony Joshua. A lot of people was like calling him a hype job, and I feel like some people just want to completely trash on Anthony Joshua off of this loss. I can't do that. I think he's a great heavyweight. He's still a formidable opponent. He's back to the drawing board. We have to see what he's going to do in a rematch. You know what I'm saying? Odds are in a rematch, I think he's going to lose again based off that performance. But you never know, because this is the debate right now. Was it the fact that Anthony Joshua had the wrong game plan, or the fact that, Alexander Usyk was just putting on a great performance? And I'm saying it is both. Now, most of it was Alexander's great performance, but some of it was Anthony Joshua's lack of a game plan and lack of the ability to make adjustments. I feel like if he makes the adjustments and has a better game plan, he would fare better in a rematch. That's not to say he's going to win. The other debates I see is this Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk versus Deontay Wilder, and things of that nature. Those are all interesting and fun conversations and debates. Does that mean that Alexander Usyk is going to dominate? Like my boy from Boxing Ran, I forget his name, but he's the one that was die-hard Alexander Usyk. Very next day, he's splashing pies and eggs in everybody's face, and he's like, now you're going to tell me that a muffin top Tyson Fury is going to beat that guy Alexander Usyk? Now you think that, a wild Deontay Wilder with one right hand is going to come in there and beat Alexander Usyk? You're crazy. Alexander Usyk is going to dominate both of those guys. And I kind of had to pump my brakes on that. I definitely would tune in more to hear what he has to say, because he was right about this one. But I think styles make fights. Deontay Wilder fights nothing like Anthony Joshua. He's not a big robotic trying to be technical. He is a wild guy with crazy power, and Tyson Fury is a skilled boxer. I'm more leaning towards like Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. was said the fight between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk would be a very, very boring fight, but it would be a high-level chess match. Deontay Wilder versus Alexander Usyk, I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I could see Alexander Usyk boxing the breaks off of Deontay Wilder, but I could also see Deontay Wilder being way faster than Anthony Joshua, having way different mentality as far as, oh, I got to land his right hand by any means necessary, and I can still see him landing a big shot of Alexander Usyk that changes the game. So we'll just see what happens first between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. First, let's get that out the way. In the meantime, in between time, I just got to give ultimate credit and props to Alexander Usyk for shocking the world, upsetting the apple cart, and reinvigorating the sport of boxing so that you cannot predict shit. It's predict the unpredictable, expect the unexpected. The great little man can beat the great big man. He proven to be David versus the Goliath. Anthony Joshua, he didn't show up. He laid an egg. He came in flat-footed. He came in flat. He came in not confident. He came in with the wrong game plan. And once again, he proved that a fast, small guy gives him issues. And that's Anthony Joshua. There's nothing to hang his head low about. He just has to pick himself up and go back to the drawing board. He still can have big fights with Deontay Wilder. Even if Deontay Wilder loses against Tyson Fury, I would still love to see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Great fight. I couldn't believe I missed that fight off the rip. Like I said, I had my own things to do. I have a life outside of boxing. Everything I do definitely is not about boxing. Uh, like I said, I should have did a video with DIY of doing my own stairs, but that right there would have made that project even longer and more of a headache. So it is what it is. Real Talk Boxing. You was the first person I checked out that talked about this fight, and my credit goes to you. I appreciate you, man, for being able to tap into that fight and give your opinion. And you ate a little bit of crow too. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, most people I saw was picking AJ. But the people that was picking Alexander Usyk, I have risen my level of respect for you guys, and your boxing IQ has impressed me even more. So the next time y'all say something, I will listen even more to see what y'all are saying when y'all talking about boxing. I don't like when people act like they know everything about boxing and can't nobody tell them anything and they can't learn. And even when they get a prediction wrong, they got to come back and start trying to do all this, you know what I'm saying, like walking stuff back, and I'm trying to point the finger. You got a prediction wrong, you got a prediction wrong. This is boxing. You know what I'm saying? This is trying to, no one's going to pick every single time perfectly. You don't have to have excuses of why you picked the wrong guy. You just picked the wrong guy. You dig what I'm saying? I picked AJ to win. I didn't want to count out Alexander Usyk, but I didn't think there was no way that Anthony Joshua wouldn't come in and time him with that jab and then come in with some powerful shots and eventually hurt the smaller guy. I didn't even think Anthony Joshua was going to lose that much weight. That's neither here nor there. It was a great fight. It was a beautiful fight, and one for the ages. Nocturnal thoughts, man. I'm going to go back to getting in my workout. Everybody, appreciate y'all time. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. My big fight that I'm really waiting for, other than Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, is Canelo versus Caleb Plant. I'm surprised I haven't heard a lot more people say, look at what Alexander Usyk just did to Anthony Joshua. That's the same thing Caleb Plant is going to do to Canelo. Now, if some of those guys that was picking Alexander Usyk is saying something like that about Caleb Plant versus Canelo, like I said, I will listen to that to see where they're coming from. But I don't think that this has anything to do with that. I still think Canelo is too fast, too powerful, too seasoned, too experienced, and he's going to dominate Caleb Plant in the fashion that Alexander Usyk just dominated Anthony Joshua. Nocturnal thoughts. Salute.